Hey everybody, welcome to our live video for today. I'm coming to you from outside. It's actually still kind of warm but cold in Vegas. It's so weird here, you guys. It's like it goes from like too hot to too cold, and there's like no in the middle. Anyway, I'm catching the few days of beautifulness and weather while we have it. If you are new to this, what we're doing today is live readings. The link is now working. We have two people who did sign up ahead of time. So those two people will be first to go. Oh my God, that was like the biggest sneeze on the planet. Okay, so there are two people who will be first. So the first person is going to be Cora, and then the second person is going to be Lemon. So I need to actually get their charts in, and while I'm doing that, those of you jumping on, if you want to get a reading today, you can click the link that's pinned at the top of the chat. It will say 2 p.m. Pacific time, but it's wrong because if I set it for this time right now, at 11 o'clock, at 11:01, it'll stop. It won't be available. So they're done in the order that they are received. And if you book today, your reading will be done today. So you can rest assured knowing that they will be, oh, Cody's here. Yay. So you can rest assured knowing that if you get a reading today, if you book it, that I'll stay until we're done. Okay, so the first thing I need to do here is I need to get the people who've already booked into my little system. And I apologize, I had a little bit of technical difficulties this morning, so that's what took me so long. I was really here on time. Okay, so I'm just seeing if I have Cora, your chart in here. And then Lemon, let me know if you're here as well, because you're going to be second. And I'm just entering these. How's everyone doing? How are you guys feeling with this Pluto-Mars opposition? Is anyone getting hit really bad? I'm very lucky. I don't have anything cardinal, so I'm fine. I'm like so fine. Although I do feel the pressure. The pressure is on right now to accomplish some things. And it's, that's that Pluto energy of making you feel like your back is against the wall. But also that Pluto energy is, Pluto Mars, it gets you to like call on these reserves of power you didn't even know you had. So that's how that goes. Okay, so city. Why doesn't it have that? Panama City. There it is. Okay. And then we need to. Okay, so I'm gonna put a note, Cora, that says estimated time, so that hopefully I don't forget that's estimated. So, yes. And then I'm going to, okay, let's see what you guys are saying. Oh, Lemon's here. Cool. And you use the same name. Yay. Making my life easy. Okay. Cora's saying it feels intense, but holding on. Cody has energy. I have heard other people say they feel energized and unstoppable. So some of you, if you feel that, then that's the wave you're catching. Marianne is not too good. Oh no. Oh no. I do have Pluto Mars in my chart, and I do function really well. Unfortunately, I don't like this about myself, but I do better when my back is against the wall and I have to like I'm backed into a corner and I have to just like figure it out. I do really well in those situations. I don't like it though. Okay, so I'm just adding our second person's chart now while we're chit-chatting. And then after that, we're going to do Cora's reading, and then we're going to do Lemon's reading. And anyone who wants to be next can book to be next. Okay, Lemon. Okay. Before lunch. So it's all right. Okay. So Cora's first. Cora, I saw your notes. So I'm going to read them again before I start actually the timer and stuff. Oh, Carolyn's here. Hello. Hello, everybody. Welcome to anyone else jumping on. So anyone who's jumped on in like the last couple minutes, we are doing live readings today. You can book with me using the link in the chat. And if you book today, your reading will get done today. They are first come, first serve. They're super fun. They're public. Everyone can see them. And you should get one. So if you want to do that, you can do that. This isn't like free readings, guys. These are readings you need to book on your personal chart. Okay. Yeah, right. It's nice, right? It was a series of events out of my control, but luckily it's sunny and I can see the screen. So cuz sometimes if it's sunny on the computer you can't, it's really hard. There's another side of the building. This is why I'm later. There's another side of the building and it's sunnier, but I couldn't see the screen. So I was like, shit, I have to move. Right. So that's my little complaint fest. Not really. Okay, I'm doing something. It involves focusing on something. Let's see what it was. It was showing you guys the charts. Okay, so we have this and then cancel, and then we have this. And then I have a timer. And I have 5 million tabs open that I need to close. Okay, this one, let me think. Oh my gosh. My Mercury is way too Sagittarius for all of this. Okay, that's good. I know, Cora, you're here. I'm going back to read your notes because you said you wanted blessings, guided meditation, and anything that would help me advance. Or finances. Okay. Anything that helps you advance in your profession or your finances. Ooh, I love this for you. I love having Mars and Scorpio on your midheaven and then you saying like what you do. Perfect. So perfect. So let's just check out what's the moon squares Mars. So I wouldn't say that's bad necessarily in the sense that Mars is still going to benefit from this, right? So I just see this as you like doing the right thing. What you're doing is right on track. But oh, look, Jupiter in the third trines your Mars and your midheaven. I want you to know something. This is a big gift. This Jupiter in Pisces in your chart is a huge blessing. Why? Because it powers the midheaven. And that is something not everyone gets. Not everyone gets a planet that directly supports their midheaven. So what do you do to activate this Jupiter? Maybe it's stuff you've already done and already found is good. And also I want to remind you that Saturn has been Saturn has been transiting this point, which means it has been kind of making it. First of all, let's talk about the dates of that, just to give you some perspective. If Jupiter isn't the ruler of your midheaven, right? It's not ruling your career, but it is the good luck button that kind of feeds your career. So if you felt like your career has not had as much food, nourishment, support since March of 2023, let me know in a comment if you have felt that. If you have, that's because Saturn has been close to that Jupiter. Luckily, it's moving away already. It's already pretty far past it. Although, let's see. Let's just kind of cycle through here. It's going to station direct. Okay, now this is 4-degree orb, so it's not the tightest orb, but it's still relevant. Okay, if it's been feeling like the normal support in your community that you have to do what you do. Yeah, March of 2023, correct. Okay, so we're going to just talk about why Saturn is the problem, what you can do about it, the timing, and then, if you want to go further to really unblock it and work with it and stuff, that's something you can book with me for. So just email me if you want to do that. Okay, so Saturn right now is stationing to go direct. So when a planet, it's actually not quite yet. Hold on. Let me rephrase that. Saturn will be stationing and but look, it's at 12 and it doesn't even move. So you might even feel this feeling of the things that normally support your career. Yeah, so Saturn will go direct soon this month. So my point, I'm trying to make a point. It is that you might be feeling this more now just because of that slowness we get when a planet stations. It just it slows down and then stops, right? And then goes forward, which is all just from our perspective. But lack or slowing down or less support, community support even. The Jupiter in the 3rd can be people in your neighborhood who are magical. It could be even let's say, were you doing, I think of psychic fairs or something like that. Was there some kind of social thing that you were doing where you were able to get clients that you no longer can? Let me know in a comment if that's true, Cora. And I'm just going to pause the timer for that because I want to know that before I go further. And I'm going to put my jacket on. And Carolyn, you will be next. Correct. Okay, wow. You guys, this always makes me feel kind of good when I get it right. Okay, so we're going to, let's talk about that. It does feel like that may continue, but it doesn't mean you can't. Don't think I'm saying you can't move forward, but it's almost without that pipeline, there's less, hold on, I can't put this on. I can't put a jacket on and talk at the same time. Okay. Without that pipeline, it's you don't get that direct life support to your career. So it doesn't mean you're stuck like this. It's actually going to slowly get better and better. But the thing is, when Saturn's really close to your Jupiter, especially in Pisces, where you want to believe in the good in the world and the possibilities and everything that's wonderful and all this good stuff, and Saturn makes it a little bit harder to access that hope and that optimism and that creativity sometimes. Okay, so what can you do about this? Well, you still have Venus. You have Venus Cazimi. That's a really nice gift. Okay, so let's talk about that. Let's talk about this gift because I know that's what you wanted, and we're getting to really what's going on here, which is, have you tried to do have you thought about doing a YouTube channel or any other kind of thing where you're reaching an audience in a bigger way? Because to me, the Jupiter in the 3rd is like a psychic fair kind of a thing. where you show up at a booth or you show up at a community event, or you'd go somewhere in your community, you go to your local tarot place or your local crystal shop or something, and you do readings or you do whatever it is you do exactly. And then the 11th house is like a big event. It's like a rally or a big event that you plan that's like not... It's not just like something in your community you're going to. It's like an event you do, or an event that's like, how do I explain? I'm not explaining the difference. Like if you did a thing at a coffee shop once a month and you scheduled it and a bunch of people could come, that would fall under this. And you have Venus Casimi here, so you can use that Venus Casimi to bring in a crowd. And it doesn't have to be that public. If you want it to be a little more on the down low, you can do that. Okay, yeah, so Cora says, I was getting interviewed a lot, but no big money from those interviews. Yeah, okay, so I wonder if so I think that you could easily keep getting interviewed. You could easily keep getting on podcasts and stuff. And maybe it's about maybe it's something about the pipeline. I'm not sure, but I think this is the gift. The gift is the ability to get audiences to listen to you, be paid attention to do work with others, doing a group podcast. You might do better on a group podcast. I think Chris Brennan has Venus in the 11th, the astrology podcast, and he has all his friends on his podcast and they do it as a team. A lot of his videos are not just him. And so those are some ideas. I have a lot of high hopes for you. I can't exactly tell you exactly what to do or anything, but I think the issue would be taking that gift of being able to reach people with that scorpionic, deeper occult knowledge, but to maybe, I'm not sure how to monetize that, because Saturn the 7th makes it feel like you might make money more easily if you do one-on-one contract type work. I imagine a package where you work with someone for X amount of months, but getting those things to communicate with each other, which you can do because Venus trines Saturn. So think packages, think agreements, think contracts, think what's it called, affiliates, think about stuff like that, because there's totally a way. Okay, I have to move on now. And we're going to go to the next person. And I hope that was helpful, Cora. It was a pleasure reading for you, and I'm glad you made it in today. So now we're going to go to the next person, which is going to be, who's next? Lemon. Lemon is next, and after Lemon we have Carolyn, and then it's open. So anyone else who books now will get their reading done after that. Okay, going to Lemon. Okay, I'm going to do something else here really quick. Okay, that works. Okay, so Lemon, we have you here. Yes. Okay, so let me go back to what you asked. Greatest challenge and the best way to work with it. And let me remember. Let me see here. Right now. Okay, so I'll tell you what your greatest challenge is right now, probably. I haven't started the timer yet. Well, you have a Saturn opposition. So that means, let me see. Okay, but the thing is, you already kind of learned the major lesson of that. And I'm going to tell you when that was, because it's so useful. That would have been around 2015. Around 2015, that was when Saturn taught you its lesson. And if your birth time is accurate, which we don't know, it might have had to do with your career and like try not to be a perfectionist or something along those lines. Okay, so yeah. Let me see what else. Yeah, I think that when Saturn is opposite your natal Saturn, and I'm going to go back to when this was more acute earlier to give a real clear one second. Yes, I'm looking at around February, March of this year. Maybe challenges, with long-term goals not going as fast as you want, or feeling like there's some kind of obstacle, some kind of like external obstacle when it comes to you reaching your goals. And let me know, Lemon, if that sounds right. If that sounds like what's been happening. And let's see. Yeah, well, even with, especially with like, even relationship stuff could have been coming up at this time, or going slower or feeling difficult. And that could be from March of 2023 and through now, where it's like really getting lessons related to others, related to other people, and related to how you have to say no to them sometimes. And then also lessons since then related to stuff like, let me think, your health or your time, like how you spend your time, and feeling like you have to work harder to get the same thing done, or that you're in a stage where it's like you just have to kind of put in more work, or you're doing more apprenticeship. And I can see you're saying, I think that tracks. Do you find one of those topics more significant right now, the relationship boundaries versus work and like getting good at what you do and like that kind of thing? I paused it to wait for your answer on that one. Okay. What else? Let's just see if there's anything that I think is like a major challenge in general. I do see, with Virgo moon conjunct Saturn, I think more lifelong challenge is like kind of listening to your emotions. Sometimes Saturn moon people will find that it's not even that it's hard to tell people how they feel, as much as sometimes you won't even want to go there. And so the way this would show up is you being like, I don't need a break, when you could totally use one. But like there's just this almost like training from an early age to not listen to that part of yourself that needs to take time off or whatever. Lemon says work delays, major life changes this year. Yeah. So the good thing though about that Saturn opposition in a sense is that it is going to be like, it's not your first rodeo with that. And, yeah. And just being able to kind of expect a little bit more. Number one, it's passing. So the Saturn is now at 12 degrees. By March, it's going to be to 20. That'll be further away. And so it's just going to get further and further away from your natal Saturn in Virgo. And so I think that it's going to, because here's the thing, it's not just opposing your Saturn, it's also been opposing the moon. And so I would think that earlier, like around March, April, May, June 2023, that probably would have been a more challenging time because Saturn moon is rough. It's like you're isolated. You don't have the support you normally have. You're surrounded by people who are just like, tough shit, suck it up, and you just don't have a lot of like softness or kindness. Sometimes those things are like not there. And that could be, you said work delays. It can be work delays because the support that you had at work is no longer present or no longer available, or you're in a role where you are the support and you have to handle it all or something like that as well. Okay, so how do we work on this? How do we work through this? With Saturn opposition, kind of just knowing, like, it doesn't mean everyone will be against you or anything like that, but kind of just knowing that kind of expecting things to not go quickly and smoothly. And like with Saturn, the only thing we can really do to kind of alchemize a Saturn transit, it would be like, what do you do while the delay is like figuring out what to focus on in the meantime? If Saturn's blocking something, then okay, who do you need to be once that block is lifted? Like getting ready for it when it happens, even if it's not happening yet. That is the best advice I have for you on that particular problem. And honestly, I don't want to minimize this challenge right now, but it's not like, I also don't want you to think it's like the worst thing ever. Because Saturn tends to get better with age. And so you would think about what was happening 28 years ago. I know that's a long time and you were super young and everything, but and how you could honor Saturn in a way by reflecting on how you have grown or what you have accomplished since then. And like honoring Saturn during a Saturn transit is just like letting it take time. I know that's not like the most fun advice ever. Sorry, it can't be all rainbows and butterflies. Okay, Lemon, that's what I have for you. I hope you enjoyed your reading, and let us know in the comments if that made sense. Okay, so we're going to the next one, which is Carolyn. Anyone else who wants to book, you can totally do so using the link at the top of the chat. There are lots of openings left. All right. So the next person is Carolyn. Say hi if you're still here. I'm sure you are. And I will be entering your chart really quick. And then we'll get on to you, Carolyn. All right. Okay, okay, I figured it out, never mind. It was 84 is your birth year, right? Let's just double check that. I know it wasn't 1084. Okay, I'm just putting it in. Yes, all right. I thought so. I knew it. But just in case. Okay, so I got you in there. Let me make sure I got it right. Okay, we got it right. And we're going to put it back on the screen. Lemon says things take longer than they should for you. Yeah, that's sometimes a Saturn thing, but it really does tend to get better as you get older. And so it doesn't mean it'll magically get better when you get older. It just won't be as bad. And I know that's not like super optimistic, but that's why you guys come to me because I'm not going to lie to you. Okay, so Carolyn, let me check out your question again. You want to know your first and 10th house or midheaven. Perfect. Go. Okay. So we have Jupiter, Moon in Capricorn in the first. We have Saturn conjunct the midheaven. And Micaiah, you'll be next. Okay, so Saturn conjunct the midheaven in Scorpio conjunct Pluto. And then Venus in Libra in the 10th. Do you want to know this all for career or something else? Because it's going to be mostly career stuff. So, Saturn on the ascendant first house means that your tendency, like, you're going to see life as like a mountain to climb. And with Saturn conjunct the midheaven, even more so. You have Jupiter sextile the midheaven. That's a nice placement. So teaching or learning could support your career in a way. Teaching, learning, being well read, knowing all the rules, Jupiter in Capricorn. And then the moon in Capricorn, amazing at accomplishing things, not so amazing at telling people what their needs are. Moon in Capricorn does not want to have to tell you how they feel about stuff. They want to just, like in relationship, kind of, and it kind of depends on what kind of a moon Capricorn you are, but in general, you don't want to get so touchy-feely about every darn thing. Like moon in Capricorn kind of doesn't love overt displays of emotion that are like uncontrolled and not, when people are just dramatic, right? So it's like the ideal working environment for you is going to be one where you know the pecking order, the routine, what you have to do, the rules. There are procedures to follow. And you might be the one who is the one who maybe follows them or enforces them. Capricorn can do really well at working within limits, working in structures, working in controlled environments. And you might be the one imparting the control on the environment, especially with Scorpio midheaven. So this could be like a surgeon, or something like that, or like working with, like you could do anything. I don't want to waste it telling you what your career is if you already know. So let me know, Carolyn, do you want like, what should I be doing with my career? Is that why you're asking? But see, Venus here in the 10th is saying there's an artistic side here. There's definitely either an artistic side or a human side going on here. So one or the other. So if it's the artistic side, all this Capricorn is going to be you wanting to make good art, like you wanting to do sculptures, or you wanting to do like art that has some kind of structure to it, structure that you follow. But if you're not into being an artist and that doesn't speak to you at all, then listen to that and know that that's still fine, because sometimes Venus in Libra is the relational thing where you're relate to people. You want to like meet with them and talk to them and collaborate with them and work with them. And then we have the Scorpio midheaven usually likes having power over others. So you could work in environments that are, again, controlled, where you have like top secret secrecy or confidentiality, or you do research, or you could work with the occult or like occult philosophy or a deep like magic or stuff like that. But it could also just be research, like medical research or research on governments or research on businesses. So it could go a bunch of different ways. But with Saturn conjunct the midheaven, this means that your work, your life's work will develop more when you're older, over the age of like 36, 38-ish. So, you've already hit that point, but it's like things should technically kind of get better. When you have Saturn conjunct your midheaven, things should get better professionally as you get older. It's not a guarantee that it will get easier. It's just like the work that you've done up until now will be maybe more visible. And with Saturn conjunct the midheaven, you could also get put into management positions a lot. You could just get them. Let me know if any of these relate. Yeah, I'm in accounting, but prefer more artistic fields. So that's going to be, you're in accounting. How interesting. I see your 8th ruler in the 9th in Virgo. I feel like, you can do that's a controlled environment with lots of rules, right? That like has to do with secrets and governments and, so sort of what I would see here. But if you're wanting to do more artistic things, that's your Venus in the 10th talking. And it does square Jupiter. And let's see. Was there a question you wanted to ask about that? What did you want to know? Are you trying to change it? What are you wanting to know, Carolyn? And then after Carolyn, we have Micaiah. And then the bookings are open. So if anyone else wants to book next, you will be next. Okay, so I can't really help you if you don't know. Because if there's no question, I can't give you an answer. If you're in a transition, you asked to discuss your 1st and 10th house or midheaven. So, we did that, and then you would have to book again if you want to ask a totally new question. But I'll just glance at it really quickly because the timer went off. So, let me see. What I see here is Saturn is squaring Mars. Mars rules your midheaven. This is a time of, it doesn't speak to like crazy, unexpected change. Oh my God, that kind of thing. It's more like a slow burn, like a slow movement into something new. And Saturn will move off of that. And it can be like up leveling to something with more responsibility. That would be the best potential there. And with that, you're still going to probably feel that energy as Saturn moves away, but it'll just be less and less. Although I can't guarantee it's going to function that way. It can just be that work feels slower, especially because you have Mars conjunct Uranus. So throughout your life, you could have had a few different changes, unexpected career changes when this Mars-Uranus gets activated by transit. So I will stop with that. You can always book again if you want more. Or if you have if you get clarity and you're like, okay, now I know what I want to know, kind of a thing. But for today, that is where we will stop on that one. And we're going to go to our next person. And our next person is going to be Micaiah. Okay, so Micaiah is next. The bookings are open, and you can actually still book if you want to be next. Okay, so Micaiah. Just entering this one. Let us know if you're here. I think I saw you say you booked earlier. Okay, what's my next major transit? How can I prepare? All right, so we are on Micaiah. Thank you, Alexa. Thank you, everyone who has booked so far today. We're going to keep going. And here we go with Micaiah. So let's just pull up the transits. And we'll see what's your next major transit. We'll see if it's happening soon. Oh, right now. You have Neptune conjunct Mercury right now. So this is actually a transit that will kind of come on and then it'll fade away for like a couple years. Neptune hitting a planet. And for you, it's Mercury. So we want to look at, well, it's in the 10th house. So this is a time where you're going to have, let me think. Fuzzy thinking, not unclear, lack of clarity around what things related to work, but it could also be something more positive. If you do work that's very creative, artistic, like visual or healing, or go with the flow in any way, shape, or form, this Neptune could be making that imagination, the mental imagination, heightened. It can also bring in a sensitivity to what people are saying, but almost like what people are not saying. Also, you are Mercury, so Neptune is conjunct you in the chart. So it's like, okay, if this transit is hitting you in a negative way, you can't say what you want to say at work, and you get all, not tongue-tied, but like like me. Where you start telling a story and then you interrupt yourself telling a different story and you never get to the point. So if you're feeling that energy, then just know that it is right on schedule. And if you're not feeling that energy, then that's wonderful. If you're feeling inspired or creative, or like you suddenly have ideas at work that you didn't have before, or things like that, then that is also wonderful. But those are some of the kind of things we're going to see when Neptune hits Mercury. It could also bring some confusion related to family stuff, because Mercury rules your home, your 4th house. So you could feel like you want to move, but you don't know where to go, or you're not sure if you want to move, kind of a thing. So that's the transit happening now, but I'm going to look ahead and see what is the next kind of major heavy hitting one. And Saturn is also like kind of on top of your midheaven right now, which has potential for good and bad. And I'm going to tell you when this was more acute, just so you can recognize the energy. Around February of this year. So sometimes this will slow down the career. It'll slow things down at work. It'll make it heavier. You'll have more heavy paperwork. You'll have more heavy stuff to deal with. Usually it's not that your job ends. It could, but usually it's not. Saturn hitting the midheaven is usually you get more responsibility, and it could be something you're prepared for. So the way to work with Saturn in your 10th, hitting your midheaven, is like, say yes to the responsibility, accept that, especially if it's responsibility that like you're uniquely qualified to do is to like say yes to what the world needs from you. And in a lot of ways, when Saturn hits the midheaven, it's like, this is the job the world needs from you right now. And so that was hitting the strongest back in February, but it could still be lingering now as far as this just being a time where you're busy or you have more on your plate. And it could be good things, but it's still a full plate. Let's see what else is kind of significant that I see that will be happening soon. Well, let me see what else? Oh, you know what? There's also something else going on with Saturn that I can't ignore. That's like a bigger deal transit. And that is, yeah, you're in the first Saturn square after your Saturn return, which is a big deal. So back when I said, stepping up, like back in February, stepping up to responsibility. Well, this is also impacting relationship stuff because Saturn is squaring Saturn in Sagittarius in the 7th. So what kind of major life lessons that were serious and maybe even had consequences were you learning back in February, March, April of 2023? Because back then this was really hitting. And so it could have been something like learning how to listen to your intuition. It could have been something with sometimes Saturn in Sagittarius wants to doesn't want, like, the way we will discipline ourselves in a way that isn't productive to Saturn is we will try to come up with a new goal and be inspired instead of doing what's in front of us. And so was there something happening related to saying no in relationships, traveling, your intuition, or just something that was like a big consequence happening at that time? And if yes, then were you not working back then too? Or were you realizing that like your work wasn't aligned back in February and then you stopped working? Hoping to transition into something aligned. Yeah, I would say that usually when Saturn's in the 10th, you're going to almost have better luck in things that you are good at or things you've already learned how to do. So even if you're trying to transition into something that is different, maybe I think it would work better with Saturn in the 10th if it's like the skills you already have or stepping up into a role that allows you to. It's just like, how can you help the world is kind of the question. So if you're not getting promoted or something, then maybe the way to work with that Saturn would be or you're not getting more work, then, I mean, let me think here. It's not like Saturn in the 10th is not going to help you figure out what you're good at, if that makes sense. It will help you by giving you some opportunity that is a lot of work. So so if I had Saturn in my 10th and I was looking for something, I would be willing to accept something that's a little more work on the front end that allows me to have what I want afterwards, right? So something that, because it doesn't, usually Saturn in the 10th is what I'm saying is like, you don't just like slide into something easy. That's kind of what I'm trying to get at here. So yeah, let me make sure I've answered your question. Yeah. So those are the major transits that are happening now. Neptune is on Mercury and Saturn is in the 10th. So those are it. And then like the next bigger transit coming up will be, let me make sure I'm not missing anything, but I think it's not until, you're going to have, Neptune's going to move. Okay. Neptune's going to get out of, Pisces in April. I think it goes back. But does it go back to 27? I'm looking right now to see. No. So by April, and I think that it's like Neptune's putting you in touch. This is what's happening. Neptune puts you in touch with the ideal. So Mercury being you are in touch with your whatever you want for your ideal career, what you want, but it doesn't put you in touch with like the tangible steps to get there. So that's the challenge to overcome. And I'm not saying you can't get a job until April, but I do think that sort of dreaminess, the feeling of like, oh, I have to have the perfect job, or those feelings like, I know I want it to be this, but I don't know how. Those might begin to fade in April when Neptune moves into the 11th house in Aries. So I'm not saying you can't proceed until then, but I think that this will help you to see the situation more clearly. Okay, so that is what we are. Yeah, that we're going to stop there just because of time. And we do have another person booked. So Anna Odetta, do you want to chat in the comments so I know who you are? And anyone else jumping on, you can still book a reading with me today. And there is a link at the top to do so. Okay, Anna, I am going to put you in. And yeah, that's what we're going to do. And Makai, I hope you enjoyed your reading. Okay, so Anna, I cannot do all of your transits for 2025. This is a mini reading. But I will start at 2025 and I will see the next major one. Otherwise, it wouldn't be fair to everyone else. But you can book. If you want that, you can book it. You have to book an hour because it takes me so long to identify someone's transits. I mean, I can see the major ones, you know what I mean, but it really requires. I cannot type and talk at the same time. It really requires a lot actually to go and see like someone's year to do it well. I'm just putting you as Anna Odetta, so your full name isn't showing. There we go. Okay. All right. Okay, so Anna, I hope you're here. I am pulling up your chart. And we're going to do the next major transit for 2025. I'm going to find it and then I'll start the timer. Okay, I'm finding it. Really, I am. Oh yeah, I found it. Found it. Okay, yeah, we're gonna start here. Okay, Anna, if you're here, let us know, and I'm gonna go ahead. All right, so The next major transit for you for 2025, I found it, and it's Uranus will oppose Saturn. Uranus at 27 degrees of Taurus will oppose Saturn at 27 degrees of Scorpio. And why this is significant is because when Uranus makes aspect to Saturn, it tends to disrupt your framework for reality. It doesn't mean you're gonna go nuts and lose your mind. It can be, because everyone has Uranus transits to Saturn usually at some point in their life. There's some kind of aspect. But these are moments when what you thought something was, or how you thought something was going to be, it isn't how it is. So, I mean, what that is, it could be something smaller, like someone you thought. And I mean, this may make it sound like I'm dismissing it. I'm just thinking of my own, where it was like, yeah, I realized something I believed was going to happen in life was not going to happen. Aries Moon Girl, you're Anna? Okay, cool. So I realized this person I thought was going to be a certain way wasn't. So your Uranus in the 3rd, opposite Saturn in the 9th. With Saturn, what does Saturn rule in your chart? It rules your 11th and 12th houses. So this could be something related to your friends, where you discover something, or you make friends. Like I'm just gonna tell you and imagine one, and you'll have to apply this to what's happening in your life in May. Imagine you wanted to just grow your social media audience, and then now it blows up, but then you realize you don't make as much money as you thought. Or you always wanted to be friends with all the astrology people, and then you become friends with them and they're dicks. Or something else along those lines, where a thing that in your mind, the framework of your mind was like, when this happens, this will happen. Then it happens and you're like, oh, curveball. We'll just have to find another way around that, right? So that's kind of the sort of thing. Now, Aries Moon Girl, don't you have a YouTube channel? Didn't you comment a long time ago? Let me know, yes or no. Oh, you want to know the Pluto square? Okay, so you want to... Pluto will square... What will it square? Pluto? That's not that big of a deal. Honestly, Pluto square Pluto is not that big of a deal. Pluto hitting Jupiter is more significant. And that's going to be Pluto hitting Jupiter in your 12th, probably going to open you up to like spirit guides and stuff, because Jupiter in the 12th is like a guardian angel kind of energy. And it's like your blessings are like, when you pray for something, it happens. So maybe when Pluto hits Jupiter, it could be something, like you start getting into astrological magic and you've always wanted to, but maybe you were afraid, and then Uranus hits Saturn and you're like, oh, I'm not afraid anymore. And that with that south node there, and then, something like that, where you start getting into something a little more spiritual, occult, or healing in some way, some kind of healing modality, that changes you, right? Like changes you and opens you up. Yeah. I'm kind of wondering, Aries Moon Girl, if your chat is delayed, like you might be earlier in the video or something, but that's okay. We're just going to keep going. So yeah, I don't think you have to flip out about the Pluto square. I know it feels scary going into it because you're like, oh no, what's going to happen? It's in my 12th house. Pluto hitting Jupiter in the 12th is probably going to open up Jupiter. It's probably going to... What does Jupiter rule? You. Yeah, it's going to change you. But all changes aren't bad, and it doesn't feel to me like this is like you going nuts. Like, are you afraid of something like that happening, right? Because it's in the Pluto in the 12th or something. I don't think so. I mean, could you lose a Jupiter thing? Yeah, you could lose a Jupiter thing. Could your career transform? Absolutely. I almost guarantee that it will. Could you have to learn a new normal? Maybe. But I don't see anything in here that's like, holy cow, stay home and lock your doors. I think if anything, you're going to just be leaning into things that represent Jupiter and Aquarius in the 12th as like subconscious connections or spirit guides or spiritual information that connects you with the collective consciousness. Maybe you're going to study myth and get into Freud or Jung or some other kind of psychology that has to do with something that is maybe not about processing emotions, because it's in Aquarius. So Jupiter in Aquarius is less touchy-feely. It's a little more like knowledge-based. Maybe you're going to connect with something that only you know. And by doing that, you share it with people, or you just access some knowledge that's like you've always wanted to connect with, or maybe you'll open your intuition. And, it's like occult and secret and like, like this, I think this transit has a lot of positive potential for you. So that's what I have. I think it might be okay. I don't think it's going to be like, well, let me just check something else here, timing wise, because you were born in 85. And so, let me see. You'll be 40. So this will be, after February, this will be a Mercury year. 4th house year, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So the moon and Mercury, we're looking at the moon and Mercury. Is the moon getting hit by anything? No. Yeah, so that's the good news. The good news is when this Pluto square happens, it is not affecting your annually perfected planet of the year or any of the other planets that would be like secondary. So it doesn't mean it won't be significant, but it's not like it's if it were one of those major ones, I would be more like it would be a bigger deal. Yeah, and then Saturn doesn't hit the moon or Mercury that year either. So yeah, I don't think you have anything to be worried about. But Uranus definitely is going to change some things. And it might have to do with learning some psychological things, learning some like psychological awareness, right? Opening you up to see. Maybe you don't see how this Jupiter is working yet, and you will. So yeah, that's what I have for you. I have high hopes that this will be fine, and I hope you enjoyed your reading. Oh, good. I'm so glad. Okay, I can see all your comments now. Cool, Aries moon girl. Yeah, I think I remembered you commenting on, I don't know, one of my moon videos like way a long time ago. Yeah. Okay, so for anyone jumping on, these readings you need to book them if you want to get one. They are still available. You can book it by using the link in the top of the chat, and that is there for you to grab. It is just pinned to the top, so you just scroll up and you can click it. It's going to say something like 2 p.m. Pacific time. That's only because if I were to put it sooner, then it will disappear. So whoever books next will be next, because we are through our first batch of people. Oh, thank you, Alexa. That's okay. I think that's happening, Terry, to everyone today. Nobody's seeing it. So, yeah. Okay. Okay, so the way this is working, I'm just going to go ahead and show you guys how to do it. So this is it here. You can see the blue top button, and you can click that, and you can see the screen here. The screen will show up, and you just click book, and then it's going to prompt you to enter your name and your phone number and your email, and then you're putting your birth info, and then choose your question. So make sure you ask the question you want to know. They're not all day long, so make sure you are clear about what you're asking. If you want to know about a certain house in your chart as it relates to what career, life direction, spiritual growth, that kind of thing. So you can pick one of these. And the reason is that there's stuff I don't answer, so don't just like put whatever you want. Don't just ask me like what your nakshatras are. For those who don't know, that's like a Vedic astrology thing, which I think is awesome, but not something I do. So that is how you do that. And let's see this. Yes, I did. I felt a bit of this Jupiter expansion in Aquarius early this year. Yeah. Jupiter in the 12th is it's interesting because it's one that can be so easily overlooked because you really have to look to see the blessings. You really have to look at like your relationship to prayer and to spirit guides and to like the unseen and even psychological healing, because that all goes in the 12th house. But it's like, if you don't look for it, you just will think you don't have blessings when really you do. All right. So I think I want to let more people book. So I'm going to take a quick break. And you guys can stay and hang out if you want to see me read more. We'll see if more people want to get in on this. So what I'm going to do is put a little banner on. We'll just say 5 minutes. 5-minute break. They are received. Okay. Let's do it like this. There we go. It's pretty. Okay, that's what we're doing. Okay, I'll be back in a few. Okay, we are here. We're on like basically round 2 of live readings for today. So what we are doing for anyone who has just jumped on and is wondering, we do live readings sometimes on this channel, which is your chance to book a reading with me. And you can do so by using the link at the top of the chart. Today I did something new where you're allowed to ask a question, but keep in mind that not all questions are answered in the sense that like there's just some stuff I can't do in 5 minutes. So like, for example, someone just asked for like 2025 transits, and it's like, if there's one transit coming up you want to know about, we can cover that. And so like that's what I mean. So if you're just jumping on, also let me know, how are you feeling with the, I'm going to grab my phone really quick. 1 second. I don't know where it is. It's a little easier for me to see. Okay. Okay. It's a little easier for me to see the comments on here. Yeah, so some people are feeling more, with the Pluto Mars, some people are feeling more pressure and like stretched from it, and like like a lot of tension, feeling like your back is against the wall, having, things just kind of pull you in a couple directions at once. Other people have said they feel unstoppable or like high energy or just like more energized, more powerful, which I wouldn't necessarily expect. Like if someone was having a Mars Pluto transit, I would not like say you're going to feel really great under this one. But if you're feeling that way, that's amazing. And some people might not feel it at all. And that's the thing about transits. And that is why you need to book readings sometimes, is because the transits affect all of us differently, right? Some people are going to go through a transit and it's going to be like the biggest deal in their chart because it makes the aspect to something very, very stressful already there in the chart. Someone else might like when they have that same thing, they're so used to that type of stress that when it happens, they're like, meh, that's normal. That's every day for me, that kind of thing. And then someone else, because it doesn't make any aspect to anything at all, they don't feel it at all. And they're like, it was just a normal day. So that's kind of how that goes. So if you are jumping on, then you still have the chance to book with me using the link that is pinned to the top of the chat. And if you click that link, it's going to take you to the booking page where you can book it. If you book it today, you will get your reading today. Currently, the bookings are open. We had a batch earlier, and then I took a break. And so now we still have more bookings open. And so the good news, if you're just jumping on, is that means you can book right now and get your reading right now. And you'll be first. And then what I do is once I'm reading a chart, usually more people will start booking. And then you can be, whoever books then is next. It'll just go in order in which they are received. And if you book today, you will get your reading today. So you can trust that it will be on the same day. If you're not here when your reading happens. Your reading will be done anyway. But it's always nice when you guys are here. I always like it. You don't have to, though. If for some reason you are like, you want a book, but you don't know if you'll, I don't know, be exactly able to like watch the full thing with your undivided attention, you can book and then leave and then watch it later, but you'd need to find it in the, you just need to scroll through and find it in the replay. But it's always nice when people are here and chatting while we're doing it, because then we can see the chart and you can see what I'm saying when I'm saying it, and you can respond, and it's always fun. So that is what we are doing now. And I love doing these. I started doing these like a couple years ago, I think, because I felt like if I didn't, you guys wouldn't know I was good. I actually did. I felt like if I could do something like this and people could see me read charts in real time, I thought it might help some people decide whether to book a full reading with me, because it's a big step to just go from seeing someone on the internet to like talking to them and having a conversation with them. Like, that's a big step. So one of the reasons is I want you guys to have a step in between if you ever do want to book a reading with me, so you can kind of see just a little bit of a personal experience of what my reading style is like. And then also, sometimes you don't need a whole hour, sometimes you just want to see what's happening next. Sometimes you just want a little question answered. And so that's another reason why I do these. Oh, thank you, Terry. Thank you so much. So I'm just chilling outside with you guys until we get some more people. There's also, I'll just tell you guys about what's happening on the channel soon. There is also going to be soon a video on the 12th house, because we did a poll on the channel and you guys decided that you wanted the 12th house more than all the other houses. And so there will be a 12th house video coming out soon. There's also a November video. Oh my God, Cody. You're killing me. I swear you're not a Scorpio rising. I swear. I swear, because if you were, like, I'm telling you, if you were a Scorpio rising, I swear to God, you would be like, don't record any of my videos. Like it's that bad. And this is hard, because I have to, we'd have to look at a time when a really, really important trends that happen. Like, this is a whole can of worms. But I guess we could do, okay, if you want to do this for fun, for entertainment purposes only, we could do it. We could just look at your Mars, right? And compare where Mars would be from the standpoint of, like, you could just book it as the time you want to test, because we've already done enough on the chart you have now. Does that make sense? And then, yeah, we could do that. We could do just reading it as if you were Scorpio rising, and I put it in the chart, and then I would just read like the ruler. What's happening to Mars? Where is it? What sign and house is it in? And then if there are any transits to it recently, to kind of compare. Although, just so everyone else knows, I don't really do, it's called chart rectification. Because the potential to be wrong is so high. And the ability, like, at this point, for a long time, I was like, oh, I'm not quite, my readings are so emotional, right? There's so much about how people feel and stuff that it's like, for a long time, I was like, I don't want to mess that up. I didn't feel like I really had enough real ability to like command of transits to be able to say, yes, for sure, I can do that. So for anyone who doesn't know what chart rectification is, it's when like an astrologer will take someone who doesn't know what time they're born, and usually it's better if there's a couple of options, like if the person I'm trying to explain it. If the person knows they were born between like 9 and 11 a.m., the astrologer would try to narrow it down and figure it out based on kind of reverse engineer the things that happen in their life at certain times and then see that way. That's what that's about. Okay, so I'm just going to hang out until someone else books. And just sit here. We'll have a marathon of like me just staring at you guys for like 7 hours. Yeah, I really am almost positive, but it's okay. Like, just because like, so people with Scorpio placements are really, really private. Like it's a secret. Like things, whatever they have in Scorpio is a secret, you know? It's like no one can know. And it's like, I met some Scorpio rising guys in particular, and there is a vibe that people with Scorpio rising give off, and it is super intimidating. They're super quiet. They're usually kind of, I don't know, there's like a vibe. I can't, it's hard to explain. My Scorpio risings, are any of my Scorpio risings here? And do you creep people out? Because like that's the thing, Scorpio, like, and I have a Mars in Scorpio, and sometimes I'm creepy. Like I don't mean to be. Luckily I have Virgo rising to kind of give a little bit of sheen of innocent seemingness. Yeah, I'm like so positive, but that's okay. I mean, I can be wrong. I've been wrong before. They look sort of like they want to kill you a little bit. Scorpio rising sometimes. Miriam, okay. Do you want to weigh in on any feedback you've gotten about what it's like to be a Scorpio rising? Are you super secret about certain things? Although this isn't to like gang up on you, Cody. And also to really know, I would probably have to see you in person, right? Because when we meet people online, actually we don't see their rising as much as we see their midheaven. So that's another part of it. I don't have the killer instinct look. No, you have like the Leo sort of like wait, no, you're not a Leo. Aren't you a Libra? Yeah. I don't get killer instinct look, but I don't know. Now I'm questioning it. Yes, I do remember you. Of course I remember you. I just meant how you are in person. I meant like in person. Okay, good. All right. Okay, yeah, Miriam's saying I don't look like a killer. I didn't think you did. But there is sort of like people with either a lot of Scorpio or like maybe Scorpio rising with a strong Mars. There's something, okay, death is a Scorpio thing, and like looking like you, it's like looking like you want to kill someone. You don't really want to kill someone, but just like, I don't know how to put it into words without coming across as like insulting to all the Scorpio risings out there. But it's like things are under wraps. You know what I mean? There's things being kept below the surface with a Scorpio rising. So some people are going to experience that as feeling intimidated. Other people might like it. Alexa, are you asking me my thoughts on traditional astrology? What do you mean, my thoughts on it? Like, is it good, or what do you mean by that? And for anyone new jumping on, you can still book a reading. I'm just hanging out until we get a few more takers. Oh, see, yeah, see, you know what I'm talking about, where it's like they're just not everything is gonna be public information, and in certain areas of life, they're gonna be super like, don't even put that in writing, don't even say that out loud, you know, like, because they don't want evidence that could ever like, it's a real thing. Yeah, it's a real thing. Okay, so okay, so they'll like bring attention to their work. Like I met a guy with a Scorpio rising who had written a book. You know what I mean? So it's like it depends on where the sun is. Like if the sun is in the 12th or something, they're going to just do art and not. They usually don't want to be. That's the thing. Scorpios, I wouldn't say Scorpio doesn't want the attention, but it's like if they are going to be in the limelight, they're not going to tell you everything. Okay, how do I feel about using only traditional planets for readings? I think it's effective. I think it works if you know all the traditional stuff. You have to study the traditional in order to read it. That's what throws people off, because I think modern astrology is a little bit more beginner friendly in the sense that you can learn it relatively quickly. You can kind of get of what planets and signs mean pretty fast if you're using modern. But in traditional, I think it requires a little more study and practice and like little more of a sophisticated approach. I don't think one is bad and one is good, but the more I do, the more I learn traditional and whole sign, the more I like it, the more I don't want to say it's better, because the thing is they're good for different things. Like traditional is better if you want to know exactly what's going to happen. But it's not better if you only want to know the good things, right? Because if you study enough traditional astrology, you're going to see something bad that someone else has been through who has a chart like you. And that can really scare the crap out of people. I know I don't necessarily want, when I'm listening to a talk on astrology, I don't necessarily want to hear or see the worst case scenario of how my transits can manifest in the worst case possible, because it just doesn't do, like, I don't need that when I'm like trying to listen as a person who just wants to learn about myself. As an astrologer who wants to give readings, I think it's helpful, but at the same time, like, I'm not going to tell someone just because you have these planets, this bad thing will happen. Because the thing is, you have to know so much to be able to accurately predict that. But I'm getting sidetracked a little. Okay, so traditional, good for what's going to happen exactly. Good for it's like with whole sign, good for like things that someone that like can be externally validated in the real world. Thank you, Alexa. And then like modern's going to be better though for like how you feel. Modern or psychological astrology is going to be kind of validating when it comes to how things feel. So I think it's nice to have a little bit of both. Yeah, that's what I think. Okay. For anyone jumping on, there are live readings you can book using the link in the chat. And you can ask a question. If your question isn't on the list, you can ask me, and I will either approve it or not, or tell you what I can do. I like kind of want to go get coffee and come back. What house system do you use for traditional, which for Western? Well, Western and traditional are the same. Western actually isn't modern. And it, you know, I'm moving more and more toward whole sign just because I love it more. But a lot of people will use Placidus or another quadrant house system when they're looking at modern, but I don't really like, that's not something I really have a stance on, like what house system to use. I think it's actually a shame that when you're first learning astrology, you have to pick which house system because you don't know. Like, you don't know. So my advice is don't get stuck on that. Don't stop and like go research house systems for 10 days instead of just learning what they mean. Like, start learning what they mean, start studying it. Eventually, you'll be able to decide which house system. But like, you don't have that information when you're first starting, and it's a shame because it's kind of confusing. I really liked Placidus in the beginning because it felt like to me it felt like it made different risings more like unique and special and different. But the more I learn the significations of some of the traditional Hellenistic concepts, the more I find that I get to that outcome just in different ways. Okay, so for anyone new jumping on, we are doing live readings. And we finished our first batch of readings earlier, and we have time to go over some more. So for anyone who wants to get yours, you can use the link in the top of the chat to book. And that's what we're doing. Hello, Air Energy. Dolly, Martha Stewart is a Scorpio rising. No secrets there. Oh, cool. You were just watching the Lilith videos. Yeah, lots of people like those ones. There's a book actually by let me see if I can open it on my Kindle. I always forget this guy's name, but his book on Lilith is quite good. Okay, Cody's booking. Awesome. Cody, you're next. My Kindle, you guys, I have problems. My Kindle, it keeps like freezing. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, I'm scrolling and it like it's Tom Jacobs. I can't show you because it has a chick with boobs on the front. But it's a red cover and it says Lilith Healing the Wild. I recommend that book on Lilith. Okay, so Cody wants to go. What's coming next? Just career updates. Okay, so you don't want to do you don't want to do the Scorpio rising thing. Okay. What's coming next? Okay. Let me find your chart in here. Okay, so let me add it. Thanks, Alexa. Okay. You guys are like the best audience, by the way. Okay, so here's Cody's chart. And I'm looking at the days you gave here. September 20th, October 4th, October 23rd. So let's go back and just check those out. Wait, that's not right. There we go. Yeah, so Mars was right around... I better set the timer here. Right around your sun. A little ways away, but close to it on the 20th, with Jupiter really close to Mercury as well. What else was happening transit-wise here? Yeah, maybe that Mars sun, which would be nice, because if it is, then let's see if this the date that Mars hit your sun would have been. Sometimes it'll be like right the Mars sun cycle. So was something happening on around the 6th that was like starting the, like, did you find out about the audition then, or did you make a decision early September to pursue this more? And then the audition was on the 20th. And then let's see what's happening on the 4th. I'm just seeing like Mercury close to the ascendant, and then premiere the 23rd. Yeah, I'm wondering if it's the Mars cycle, just the new beginning of the cycle, making that 10th house quite busy, but also, you know, Mars sun would be like going after what we want. Is this something you've wanted for a while? I mean, I'm thinking it was. Okay, so now go to now and let's just see. Okay, awards night on the 15th, on the 7th. Had a difficult show and took a break. Okay. So this is something else. This is like a different... I think so, because you started it right when that... like the Mars cycle is 2 years, so I'm thinking this is the beginning of you planting the seeds. And then look, Mars in your 11th, starting the 9th of November. And then the premiere will happen 23rd. Mars is still close to the midheaven. And then I don't love the Mars going retrograde. It makes me feel like, I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world. It gives me a feeling if what you're doing is connected to the Mars cycle, it's like we planted seeds and now we have to go back. Maybe you're going to decide to do more film classes or something. You know, maybe you get I don't want to predict anything negative because it doesn't necessarily have to be that. It could just be like now you're going back to relearn something you knew before, or to, I don't know what you could be doing on this, but like restudy something, right? Because like, especially because, I mean, just the timing with Jupiter retrograde isn't bad by any means, but it went retrograde around, I can't even see it, around this time, like last month. There, yeah. Like the 12th. So it doesn't mean like things won't happen, but it gives the feeling of like, this is more of a taking in, studying, getting ready, maybe doing another audition, you know, and then I think it's just around the corner. Jupiter goes direct by March. I don't think that means that you're stuck in slow mode until March. But I feel like it's kind of when the opportunity comes from what you've been up to lately. And then we also have Uranus about to hit Jupiter for you after that. I know this is a little ways ahead, like April. Jupiter ruling your 6th house of work. 3rd house doesn't matter that much, but it does matter for like your routines and day-to-day stuff. So having that, like having it go direct on top of Venus with Mercury is kind of significant. Now, this could be love stuff, right? Good love stuff happening here. And I'm just thinking like, I kind of want to go now and look at what's happening to your moon, because the moon rules the 10th house, but also it's dispositor of the midheaven. Right now the south node is on it. So it's like, it definitely is kind of on track that during a south node in the first transit, you would stop doing a thing or walk away from a thing. Even though this was a couple months ago, still the moon was in this sign still. Yeah, like even in September, it was still, the south node was on the moon, I mean. That's what I meant to say. So like letting go of things that are not supporting you emotionally, being more spiritual, walking away from the materialistic things that do not make you feel good, and don't just support like the career. Letting go of things that don't support the career you want is kind of like super on track for this. Okay. So you're saying film classes make sense. I wasn't as good as I thought. Haha. Okay, so it could be that you see the thing after it's like premiered and you're like, you know, when you see yourself on camera, like sometimes I have clients do this, right? Where we have a video and they responded like, oh no, I interrupted you or something like that, right? So it might be like that where you see yourself and you're like, I want to work on my diction, or I want to work on my blah, 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 whatever. I don't even know what actors work on, obviously. But like you might notice something that makes you want to do that, but not in like a bad way. Or maybe you get a little bit of praise and you're like, this is worth investing into, right? It could go that way as well. Now, Let me get back on the South Node and see. The South Node enters Virgo in February. This is going to be better for you because when the South Node is in your first house, it brings like a clearing out of aspects of your personality or aspects of your life, and it brings a spiritualizing effect, which is great for being more spiritual. It's not great for the moon, and it's not great for your career because it's just a releasing activity. It can drain you a little bit. It's like it can take some of the energy away from the public life. Even though Mars is there being like, we have a bunch of shit to do. The South Node is like, no, let's go meditate. Let's go meditate. Let's go be in our meditations and stuff. Which is fine. Like, do it, That's like great. Oh my gosh, you just remember what you just asked me today about? Okay, so then that's so insanely perfect. Okay, so although I am thinking that, through the next few days, even the next week or so, Mars hits the midheaven, which is like stimulating your public image, stimulating your desire to reach your highest potential. But it's like before a retrograde. So it's like you're going to get all excited about what's next. And then it's like maybe what makes sense is that the following month you're doing classes, you're going back, you're redoing something, you're reevaluating what else you need in your life to make this dream possible. Okay, and then back when it's in Cancer, it doesn't mean you're going the wrong way or anything, just more readdressing what you were doing back in September, which is maybe you're filming something new. Maybe it's not a totally bad, horrible thing. Maybe you're filming something new in March again. And then if that's true, I would predict that maybe in April, mid-April, there's going to be another thing published or something, another thing, launched. Now, don't think that means you can only launch when Mars is in your 11th, or that you're never going to get work when it goes in the 12th or something like that, because it's like a new cycle. So let's see. Did I answer your question? Yeah. I think so. Hits midheaven the 15th. Let me check that again. Did I say that? Let's check November. It'll be within 3 degrees of the midheaven. So that's not necessarily bad, because it's your money planet. Right? And it's like, it's just going to bring activity. I don't know if you could get money when you get paid, how that works, but yeah. I wouldn't be worried about it. Like, if you're worried about the negative effects of Mars. It doesn't look explosive or anything. Yeah, and then I do like Uranus hitting Jupiter for you, because I just feel like it's potential changes in your work, your routines. Maybe you end up moving to somewhere, or you end up commuting more because you get certain kind of work or something. That feels like it could be like a stimulating, fun kind of a thing. Also, it's your 8th house, so it could be something or more spiritual, right? Enlightenment, like do your meditations, man. So that could be good too. Okay. I know you said this earlier. The money gods are not with me now. Maybe it'll just be fame, but usually when your money planet goes into the 11th, this would be if I'm not going to guarantee you win the lottery or something, but this would be a time where like you could get a big money or you could get a boon. You know, it's like a boon. It's like a bit more than you had before, a blessing, a gift, someone invests something, someone gives you money, someone helps you out, that kind of thing. Okay, I'm going to stop just because I went over. But hopefully that helps give you enough to work with for now. Okay, anyone else just jumping on? There's still time to book a reading if you want to. And if you do, what you do is you go to the link at the top of the chat and you click on it. And then you you just fill it out and then you get a reading. I wish I had someone who would just bring me coffee right now. That's what I really wish. Oh, let's see what Love Dove is saying. I had a nose job on Mars retrograde. It failed and got infected and got the implant removed. I hate Mars retrograde. Okay. So this is an example of how different people are affected by retrogrades. I'm sorry about that experience. Some people, though, are going to do really well. So you have to kind of see. And the best way to see, guys, is to go back into your life and figure out what happened on Mars retrogrades for you. Because some people with really strong Marses do fine. I always get, not always, but 2 of my major relationships started during a Mars retrograde. So I can't complain. You want to bring me some coffee? Oh, so funny. W stream? What does it mean? Oh, you just streamed me a cup of coffee. That's so cool. Oh, I love it. Okay. All right. Oh, I also have like a special 12th house video right now that you can book through the 4th of November. So there's a couple more days to book that. It's like, it's kind of like a live, but it's just me making you a video on your 12th house. And the 12th house needs to be a little more private, right? So that's not something I'm going to do ever on a live, just because it's like, even if you think you're like strong. What do you mean? Even if you think you're like, oh, I'm so tough, you know, like you don't know what it's going to bring up. So I'm not like, there's certain things I just won't do publicly. But anyway, the point is you guys can book that. I'll actually let me make sure there's a link in the description for that. Oh, there's not. I'll add it. I think it's called, no, it's not that. Yeah, it is. It's called Embrace Your Shadow, but it just really tells you about your 12th house. I'm going to add that to the actual video as well. Oh yeah, and I have a 12th house video. If you have planets in your 12th house, probably that video is going to come out. I'm thinking tomorrow if I can get it up in time. Through November 4th. Yeah, so if you want to get... And okay, here's what I'll tell you. I explained this in the video, but I'll tell you guys now because you're here. And I have a captive audience. No. For every single placement in the chart, you can look at it from your rising sign and you can look at it from your sun or your moon. So if you don't have any planets in the 12th house, you can look and see, do you have any planets at the sign before your sun or the sign before your moon? Because if you have a planet in the sign before your sun, that's the 12th from your sun. And if you have a planet in the sign before your moon, that's the 12th from your moon. And depending on whether you were born in the day or born at night, you might relate more to one or the other. And this is not to make you think you're more messed up than you already are. I say that because I know that it's like, I know some of you are kind of like I get sometimes where you're like, you don't see the good in your own chart and you see the bad in it. Some of you are fine though. Some of you are not like me and you're fine. But if you're one of those people that does not see the good in your own chart, do not go find your 12th house planets and decide you're worse of a person. It's just another layer of self-understanding. You may find, for example, if you have like Mars, the 12th from your sun or the 12th from your moon, that you fight with yourself more. If you have Venus and the 12th from your sun or the 12th from your moon, you may find that you just I don't know, like really like being alone and find joy in privacy and solitude and learning about the subconscious mind, and you just love that area of life, etc., etc. So that will be happening on the 12th house video. I'm going to talk about that more. And I'm going to give you guys a few more minutes. So if there's anyone who has been thinking about booking today or just jumped on and wants to grab their reading, you guys can do that now. And then I will close it down in a few minutes. So we're just going to hang out for a minute until I'm sure that everyone had a chance. Yeah, so other channel announcements for anyone who's maybe just joining us. The November video is up for monthly. I did that one live to test to see if live would get more views, and the answer is no. So I don't know if I'll do the next monthly live or not, but either way, there's going to be a monthly, and it will be have timestamps so you can watch it. So yeah, the November video is up. You can watch it. There's also going to be a video on 12th house planets soon because I polled you guys and I asked you guys which house you wanted to know about. And the number one winner was 12th house. So you're getting a video on 12th house planets. And yeah, we'll do more live readings like this. And we will also you can also book a private reading with me. So I'm going to manually turn off the booking. 12th house, yay. Alexa says 12th house, yay. Yes. And I might do a live tomorrow. on some other topic. So if you got one reading today and you just need another one tomorrow, or you're watching this after and you missed it and you feel like disappointed that you missed it and you wish you would have been here to book, then just check the comments for the link to book for tomorrow. And I'm going to take off our class for today. I'm just going to move the time actually, so no one books it. Now. What was I trying to do? I was trying to check that. Now I'm going to go get more coffee because I don't let myself drink it after like 3. But it's not 3. Oh my God, stop. Okay, we are good to go. Okay, guys, thanks for everyone for hanging out today. And I'll see you guys again sometime in the future. Have a beautiful weekend and take care. I'll see you guys later. Bye.